We're hanging in there, man. This team is not playing very well. What's been your take on the first 18 games of this Maple Leaf season here?
Well, as a former fan and then a former player and then back to a former fan, then to a fan now, it's tough to watch. I think for the Leaf Nation, it's been a couple of it's just seeing what goes on and how everything's been played out, just from goalies to defense to forwards to Marner. I've voiced it before. I'm a huge Marner fan, and where does that? Who's putting in that 100-point year this year? Who's stepping up and doing that role? So it's tough to watch, and I hope they can turn around here sometime soon.
Yeah, and Dave, we've been talking about the response this team has had. They've had some rough ones, they've dropped a few, and they're not playing good defensively, and called out by their coach and goalie and everyone else. And you just keep waiting for this response, and they go out there and they look disinterested, and it's kind of shocking. Like, what do you take from that? You know what that market's like, and how much the heat can come down on you. Are you surprised that you're not seeing more of a response out of these guys?
No, 100%. I know when I was with Q and Q used to give us a good whipping. You'd want to go out there that next shift or that next game and kind of be like shove it up his ass. But
Hmm.
you'd want to go out there and say "f you," like this is not what we are, and this is not what kind of team we are. And I know what kind of coach Chief is. I know Chief's close to Dale Hunter, and I've met Chief a bunch of times, and he's a great coach, and he's won a Stanley Cup, and he knows what it takes to be there. So having him behind the bench is great, but when you don't have guys that are going out there and performing for your coach, that's just it's disappointing.
It is, and you talked about Q. We had him on the show last year. I'm not shocked at all the Ducks are off to the start there are with a legend and Coach Q. But you were around so many absolute studs and vets. Like, great to see Johnny Toews back in the league, but Patty Kane, Keith. I mean, the list goes on. Who do you lean on right now if you're the Maple Leafs to get yourself out of this funk? It has to be the vets, right?
Yeah, 100%. The vets know best. The you go down the line like when I played, we had when I came in, it was a little different. Different. I remember we had Marty St. Louis. Not Marty St. Louis. Marty Lapointe. We had Martin Havelat, Smolinski. We're going way back. But I know back in the day, we'd go out for some beers, and that'd be the turning point of it. Like, we go out, have some fun, put things in the back of your head, and not even think about it, and go out there and play. Like, that's the I think when you get when your head is when there's too much up there and there's too much going on, I think your sticks are gonna get sloppy. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be thinking too much, and I think you go out there, you have a nice night out with the boys, have some beers, don't think about it, and go out there and play loose.
Yeah, and talking about those Blackhawk teams that you were a part of, I mean, obviously a tight team that did things well. Um, they were very well rounded, and the results showed for themselves. When you think back to those teams, was it leadership, or how did you get to that point where you guys were such a great team?
I think leadership was one of them. I think our scouting was so good that we had so many great guys coming up in the roster. You had myself, you had Dunks, you had Seas, you had Buff, you had Brower. Like, he just goes down the line. Every year we had another guy coming up being like Andrew Shaw, just small little things that, but I just remember every Sunday after we always played an afternoon game on most Sundays or every other Sunday, and we'd have that next day off, and we'd be like, okay, be at the Scout. This is a bar that our buddy owned. I think he just opened back up in Chicago, and we'd all meet there. We'd have beers, hang out, chit chat, have fun, and next day would be a day off. You lay around, get your legs back, do whatever you need to do to cure the hangover, and then Tuesday get back to work. And it was it was we were just whenever we did something, we did it as a group. So we'd all be like, there'd be a text going out, be like, hey, we're meeting here, and we'd all be there at the same time, and we'd all have fun, which was great about that group because you'd go to the wall for that guy, and like we were just so tight.
Trying to find an answer. I think the biggest thing, being around the rink the last couple days has been maybe they need to get on the road, like just how you mentioned, get the boys on the road, get some camaraderie and some chemistry going that way. But again, there's just so many questions with this team. I did want to ask you, as a guy who is really, really sound defensively, how do you gain that trust back with your teammates? Because that's the one thing in my takeaway from this team thus far. Nobody trusts each other out there at all.
Yeah, it's tough when you don't have anybody to trust, and you like you got one guy talking one way, another guy being negative. You got the goalie stallers giving it to guys, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to be hounding guys. You don't want your goalie. You guys all want to be a team. You guys all want to be together. And I just knew when I came to the league, I came from junior. I put up 130 points. That next year, I went to the AHL, played for the Norfolk Admirals, and I was like, oof. I don't think I'm putting up 100. And I put up some good points in the AHL, but my first game was against the Vancouver Canucks, and I lined up against the Sedin Twins. I think I was like -3, -4, and I was like, oof. I don't think I'm putting up 100, 130 points or 50 goals here. So I had to figure out a way to kind of to stay in the lineup and stay in the NHL, and it was that defensive role. I took pride in it, going up against the Thorntons, the Crosbys, all the top players, and because I knew I was going to play 20 minutes a night. I knew that when Thornton was out there, I was getting out there. When the Steen Twins were out there, I was getting out there. But I always felt defense wins you games. I'd rather win 2-1 than 6-1 or 6-5 or something like that than being well defense rounded, great goaltending, and just getting back and helping your defense and your goaltender.
Well, Willie Nylander had a clip there with an interview, and they're talking about their piss poor play, and he goes, "Well, hey, we're still putting the puck in the net, so that's a good thing, basically." And it raised some eyebrows for sure. But do you kind of agree with that? Like, if they couldn't put the puck in the net, that's a bigger problem than tightening up your defense, or do you buy into that at all, or do you think that's bullshit?
No, I don't buy it. I think that's the because goals don't come easy in the NHL. Goals are tough to get, and you get around some of these tough defense and tough goalies. It's not going to be easy. And once it gets towards the end of the year and playoffs, that puckers up. Guys won't be running and gunning and doing doing that. Like guys will be getting back, helping the defense, and playing a defensive game.
Bulls, I got to ask you about killer instinct. It's been such a phrase in this market for the last 10 years. But we just talked about your accolades, two-time Stanley Cup champion, so many big goals, big plays. You're around some stardom, obviously, as well. What do you make of killer instinct? Is it something we blow out of proportion in this market? Because, for example, I watch a guy like Nathan McKinnon. He is frothing from the mouth every shift. Is there something you can instill in players to get that urgency, that desperation in their game? We haven't seen it so far this season, or many times in seasons past too.
Yeah, no, I think there is a killer. Like when I was getting out there against, like I said, those top guys. Like I was like McKinnon going to score a goal. I was frothing out the mouth to get them off their game or do whatever I could to help my team win or do whatever I could. I wanted to win. I wanted to win the Stanley Cup. I got it once and I got it twice. And once you get a taste of that, you get that killer instinct in you. It's a long year playing 82 games or 83 games and then going to the playoffs. I know I got hurt quite a bit, but for some reason I always saved myself for the playoffs. And when the playoffs came around, like for me, that was my killer instinct. That was when I was like, okay, this is my time to shine, and this is when I tend to show up and want to play.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dave, you've been in this locker room and in this market. When things are going bad like this, if you were put there today, what would your message be? What would your strategy be? What would you do if you're part of this team right now?
Oh, that's a tough question, but I think for me it's just being a team, getting out there. Like I said, like getting away from the rink, getting away from all that. I know, like when I was there that year, I don't know what year that, I forget, that was going into 2014, 2015. I think those before I got hurt, not putting it on myself, but we were doing really well. Like we were on top of the city that year. We were great, and we were a well-rounded team with Loops, with Kadri, with Phil, with Bozak, and we were going out we were a tight-knit team. Like, we were going out a lot. We were having great times. Like, I loved it there. I love it, but I came here to Florida and things are a little different. Um, but if I was those guys, I'd be getting out, go have some beers, get away from the ring. Don't think about what's going on, because that market with all that media, it could run you down.
Yeah, I'm sure you went to the underground 7 or 18 or 3,000 times in your time in Toronto. Last
Oh
one
yeah.
for me. You talked about Dale Hunter earlier on. I followed your career closely growing up too. I went to school in London, but watched Easton Cowan play for the London Knights as well. Have you had a chance to be around that kid? And we were just talking about Cowan being recalled just before you came on the show here. And do you think, a place like London has prepared or conditioned a kid like Cowan to deal with this kind of storm right now because the team's not playing well? And you always wonder about calling kids up when it's just not going well and the toxicity around the market.
No, I think Dale and Mark do a great job with that. They prepare a lot of guys. You see how many players have come out of the London Knights system, with Rick Nash to now to Easton Cowan. I watched him when I was down there a few times whenever I'd go to the rink, and he's a player. I think he just needs his reps. But like I said, the best thing when I came out of junior was going to play in the AHL. I played in the AHL for about 2 years, and that's where I learned to play defense. I learned to get back, to help. When I was in the OHL, it was just a run and gun, and it was all about scoring goals, not really thinking about defense. But when I got to the AHL, when I was in Norfolk, I learned how to play defense, be a team player. Just the small things to get back up there to be an NHL player was a huge thing. So I think being in the AHL for him is great. It's a great learning, and it's going to help him get to the NHL and stay up there.
Shout out to Richmond Row in London. Great times on that street for a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is. Just to wrap, Bulls, what's your prediction? Obviously, this team is in a hole right now. They've dropped 4 in a row. We were just talking off the top. I mean, for all this losing they've done, they're still 4 points back of first in the Atlantic Division. Do you think they get themselves out of this?
It's going to be tough. Like, the way they're playing right now, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But I just don't feel like right now they're a playoff team. I don't feel like they're. I feel like they're going to be on the edge. Like, I think missing Marner with that 100 points, points helps out, and he was one of their main guys. So it's I feel right now like I'm a Leafs fan. I want to see them win the Stanley Cup before I'm dead. So that's hopefully a long time down the road, but it's going to be tough for them to get out of this, and I hope they do, and I hope they figure it out.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all, and don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.